Bickley and Marana Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
There are some athletes who are very good at protecting themselves. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins leap to mind, just to name a couple. And then there are athletes you need to protect from themselves, and Devin Booker is one of those. And this is where Frank Vogel failed the Suns on Wednesday night. The new head coach allowed Booker back in the game after rolling his ankle against the Raptors because Booker wanted to. He didn't want to abandon his teammates because Booker knows what he means to this team, and because Booker is one tough dude. But in a season where every injury has been treated with ample patience and time, you don't mess around with your best player, and you don't listen to that player either, no matter how badly he wants back in the game. Booker is exactly the kind of player who needs to see a stop sign every now and again. Now, maybe, hopefully, Booker heals up in time for Friday's showdown against the Nuggets, and if that's the case, it's no harm, no foul. But if Booker misses more time with another injury, it might derail their hopes for the in-season tournament championship, and more to a point, it's going to continue a local trend that is more maddening than snowbird traffic and that itch inside your shoe, because sadly, you do not have a super team if your best three players are never on the court. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
I don't know if it got stiffer, but, I wasn't going to spend the rest of the night trying to beat people off the dribble. Still taking what the defense was giving us. They were still trapping, so, I thought I could be out there and, force that gravity and get open shots for other people.
That was Devin Booker after the game last night. Not only did he turn the ankle, he didn't have a Devin Booker type game. 2 of 12 from the floor, 0 for 4 from three-point range, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, was a -15, a team worst plus-minus last night in what turned out to be a 7-point loss by the Suns. It was a tough matchup before the ankle happened. And I get everything you're saying. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those things where it's hard to reconcile everything because in this day and age, we talked about this earlier, it seems like anytime anything happens to an athlete, mm-hmm. there's always this universal err on the side of caution.
Yep.
Whether it's the front office, coaching staff, player, training staff, whatever.
Right.
We're not going to see a player come back from that. We all saw the ankle turn. It didn't look good. He hobbled off the court. So I respect Devin Booker, who is a tough guy, wanting to be out there for his team. But I'll bring this up as a possibility.
Okay.
The comeback didn't look good. He did not have a good game. There's by no stretch of the imagination can you call it a good game. And the Suns didn't have a good game. But nobody knows his body better than Devin Booker. Mm-hmm. And he's turned ankles before. And maybe he felt like, this isn't going to be anything. He went to the locker room. He got checked out, probably got a little bit of treatment, some evaluation. And, coupled with his own thoughts on his ankle, thinks maybe it's nothing. I know we're all expecting the worst because that's what we're conditioned to expect in these situations. And I hope that's the case.
So do I.
But I would not have had a problem, to circle back around to your thinking, Bick. I would not have had a problem at all if Frank Vogel said, "You know what, Book? We appreciate it.
Yep.
We're going to try to win this one without you."
Or maybe in a worst case scenario, let him back in and trust him, and then watch and go, he's marginalized. Then get him out of the game.
Well, I still had the feeling after what we saw from Booker Sunday in New York against the Knicks, where he put his cape on. I thought he's going to have a tough game, but how do you rebound from a tough game if you're Devin Booker at this point in your career? You hit a dagger 3.
Yeah.
You hit a game tying, and he did have a chance at a game tying 3, but it just wasn't there. This is growing in frustration for a lot of Suns fans.
Right, and prior to last night, I was trying to be the voice of reason here, but last night I'm like, it affected me. And you saw how much pain he was in and the way he was grimacing and had the towel over his face for a minute, and those things are very, very painful. But I think that's the overarching thing. We're all waiting for this basketball team to get on a roll to show us its ceiling. I think the days of going into a postseason with blind faith in the star talent you have, We did that last year, and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And so whether or not the calculus is going to be the same for this team, I just know emotionally how it's hitting fans of this basketball team, because this really was one of the more anticipated seasons in a long time.
Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and so, again, knock on wood, hopefully he's on the court on Friday night, because it's what night.
Yeah. And they're getting healthy now.
Right.
Jamal Murray came back last night, and they had some rough stretches without Murray, but they're so much better when he is out there.
Oh, yeah.
The Suns have played 18 games, Bick. They've only got 3 players on the roster that have played in all 18 games.
Oh, can you name them?
And only 1 player that has started all 18 games.
Wow.
Nurkic
has started all 18 games.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 guys that have played in all 18, Josh Okogie and Jordan Goodwin.
Wow.
And Jordan Goodwin has been injured too. I mean, he took a sock to the bean,
no.
Jarrett?
This poor bean.
He had to wear a mask on that socked bean.
And again, so with all of that being said, it's kind of a minor miracle, or maybe fortuitous, that they're 11-7, right?
Yes.
So, yeah,
it's all perspective at this point.
And I think Frank Vogel will learn. I think Frank is, as a new head coach and somebody who's trying to build relationships with these guys, I can see why last night happened. And again, it's even premature to call it a mistake. But if he misses time, I would have wished he would have put up a stop sign for him.
Yeah, it was just one of those nights where nothing really went right for the Suns, and they still had a chance to steal it. Kevin Durant came back from a 2-game absence, hit 11 of 30, scored 30 points, and there was a time where it looked like he was going to carry the Suns single-handedly to a victory, but started out real slow. Frank Vogel was asked why.
Yeah, missing a couple of games. There's always a little bit of rhythm, that you need to reestablish. But, we didn't do a good enough job screening for him and getting him open. So he was forced to have to do too much one-on-one, too much on his own, and we got to be better with that.
And about one of the guys, the only guy that started all 18 games so far, Yusuf Nurkic, Frank Vogel did point out his improvement on the defensive end.
Yeah, I thought Nurk was really good. He's really improving on the defensive side of the ball, in terms of really just putting his body in front of whatever drive comes to our basket. And, our guards are building trust with him, by helping him. A lot of bigs, sometimes we hesitant to really attack the ball and protect the rim. If their guys, getting offensive rebounds or dump offs, and our guys are covering for him, which is making him even more aggressive. He had a big block late in the game that we thought could have, or at least gave us a chance down the other end. But he's really improving on that side of the ball, and he had a strong night offensively as well.
Yeah, I thought Nurkic had a good game last night. That block,
I thought so too.
That block near the end of the game was a tremendous defensive play.
Yeah, and listen, and they were clearly challenging him defensively, and I thought he played fairly well. I really did. Yeah, and I think a lot of it too was I didn't expect the Raptors to play with that kind of energy, given the fact that it was second game in as many nights. But they did, and they pushed the pace on the Suns, and as you said earlier, it just looks to me every time they play that team, it's just. They've got the right kind of wing defenders. They just seem to cause matchup issues for the Suns.
They do, and I was looking at the Toronto newspapers this morning, seeing what they had to say about the Raptors. And
the Toronto Sun.
One of the beat writers started it out by saying, try to figure this team out. I dare you. Like, they don't know what they're going to get.
Right.
They called it the best effort of the year for the Raptors. I mean, Precious Achiuwa had his best game. Scotty Barnes is good. Pascal Siakam plays really well against the Suns for whatever reason.
Precious Achiuwa.
Precious Achiuwa.
Come on. There's got to be
enjoying that last bite of a really delicious meal.
Yeah.
Precious
Yeah.
Precious Achiuwa. What happens when that girl from that one movie based on Pushed by Sapphire sneezes?
Achiuwa. I was on a total ride with that one. I was like, where are we going?
I see where you were going.
Gabourey
Sidibe.
Yeah.
What happens when Gabourey Sidibe has an allergy attack?
There you go.
Babe.
Precious Achiuwa. There you go. Now we did it.
Well done.
A group effort.
Yeah. We finally got to where we were going.